Hey everyone, it's the Sagan from Scientists Say, and I know you're probably expecting the next portion of my Shivers playthrough, which should be segment 5. Unfortunately, due to a massive lack of sleep today, I haven't had a chance to record it, and I'm now in a location where I'm not too comfortable using the camera on my laptop. Since I feel like you guys want to see my face while I'm doing that, I'll record that entry when I get home later today, and then of course I'll put that up. But I'll wait until the next day to do that, since I have something else I want to show today. So, if you have been watching our Twitch streams over on Twitch TV, twitch.tv/scientistsay, if you're not doing that, well, you can watch some of our archive streams, but the audio may be cut out because we do a lot of Rock Band, and Twitch likes to cut out the music after the fact. But we stream nightly and kind of in the morning now due to the Tesla's work change. So usually we're starting at like 2 a.m. and going to 6 a.m. But now we might be starting at 6 a.m. and going till, noonish or so. But basically you can watch the Tesla Showboat on Rock Band, and I'm usually hanging out in the chat talking to the audience. And we have a chatbot that is themed to behave like Teddy Roosevelt. We call him Teddy Roosebot, and we're quite fond of him. But therein lies the part of the problem, is that if you've been watching our Twitch streams, you'll notice that lately the quality's gone down a bit, in that now that we're streaming Rock Band 3, which allows us to showcase our massive song library, we don't have camera and we don't have microphone to be able to interact with the audience like we do on Rock Band 4. And so we're looking to rectify that situation. So I decided we need a dedicated streaming rig, because obviously we do Rock Band pretty frequently now, and we've got some other stuff down the road that we'll want to do some streams for, and it's easier for us to do that and basically have a dedicated machine for it. So I decided it was time for us to build one. And so with that in mind, I present to you the subject of today's video. Boom. So, what is this, you might be asking? This is an Intel NUC, which stands for New Unit of Computing. Basically, this is a mini computer. In fact, this is a mini PC kit. So basically, this box should contain everything I need to create a mini PC that looks kind of like this. If you can see on the end of the box, this is actual size here. So this thing, when it's done, should be about yay big and be more powerful than the Tesla's desktop computer that he's currently using for streaming, if you can believe that. But no, this bad boy comes with an Intel i7 processor, and basically USB 3, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, everything you need. The only thing you need to include yourself is RAM and a solid-state drive and an operating system. Boom. 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 No product placement. So, I have everything we need. So, I'm going to do an unboxing of this, because this is the first time I'm seeing this. And then I'm going to do an assembly of adding in the RAM and the solid-state drive. If I can do that all in a timely manner. There'll probably be some time-lapse and technical difficulties as we do this, but fuck it, let's do it live. So give me just a second and we'll get started. So let me talk, before I unbox this, let me talk about the things that I did buy. So got some DDR4 basically laptop RAM, 2 SODIMMs, those will go in as the RAM, and this thing will actually support up to 32 gigs. Excuse me, my screen keeps turning off, so let me make sure I'm getting a good yeah, there we go, good shot of the RAM. Yeah, this thing will actually support up to 32 gigs of RAM, but honestly I feel like currently in this day and age, anything, unless you're doing like high-end video editing or 3D rendering. Anything over 16 gigs is frankly just obscene at the moment. That being said, if we start doing something really intense with this thing, because this thing claims it can do gaming, and that's something I'm curious. Once this is assembled and up and running, I'll be testing this bad boy out with some streaming this weekend, before we start using it officially as the scientists say, Streambox. Now, believe it or not, this is not a RAM chip. This is the hard drive. Now, I've heard of the M.2 interface, but I'd never actually looked into them because I figured, oh, it's just another, port. I didn't realize that this is a solid-state drive that I think these were around before solid-state drives, as we know them, SATA drives, were really a thing. So it's like, of course, these were probably much more expensive back then. But you just plug this into the slot on your motherboard, and boom, you've got a solid-state drive, behaving at RAM speeds, basically. And I'm very curious to watch this thing in action. I expect it's going to be lightning fast, especially when combined with the memory that I got here. Okay, and then as far as the operating system, I'm going with Windows 7 because I happen to already have it on a flash drive, and I have, some extra keys lying around for it. Will I upgrade it to Windows 10? Probably not. And I tolerate Windows 8 on my own laptop. So, as of right now, I still find Windows 7 to be the most stable Windows operating system at the moment, but that's just my opinion. I may change that in the near future as Windows 10 matures, but right now, especially with Edge and other features of Windows 10, I'm quite happy to stay with 7. Also, I prefer low overhead, and granted that's sort of laughable when we're talking about Windows 7, but, whatever. Alright, let's get down to it. Let's open this bad boy up. This is my first time seeing it too. So I have no idea what's in this box. I'm actually genuinely curious why it's so big when the system itself should only be about yay big and about yay thick. I suspect that the power cord is probably taking up a lot of this, as is, other peripherals. If this thing comes with an HDMI cable, I'm actually going to be a little pissed off because I had to eviscerate one from a rather inconvenient location before I left home tonight to make sure I'd have one to set this thing up. But, wow, am I actually bending that screwdriver trying to open this? I don't trust the screwdriver. Let me find... Okay. There we go. Now that I've got the... Just a second, let me get my screen back on. Okay. Now that I got this box, I have to say this is a nice feeling box. Got a nice matte finish to it. The gold lettering really pops outside the packaging. Also, I fucking hate that word. I don't know why I just said it. Alright, let's find out what's in the box. Come on, come on, come on. There she blows. Alright, so this is the Intel NUC 6i7 KYK. It's a little thicker and a little heavier than I was expecting, but it's still pretty compact and light. And I don't know if you can see it. I'll have to take it out of the plastic wrap here. But it has this awesome looking skull design on the top here. Yeah, let me get it out of the plastic here for you. Okay, so we still have the protective plastic on, which I'll have that oddly satisfying moment of peeling off in a minute, but you can definitely see the skull design much better. I mean, you can see my reflection in it. But I gotta say, this thing feels fucking solid, and I mean, look, I can lift that easily with one hand. It is, got a little heft to it, but it's really actually nice and compact. So, let's see, we have 2 USB 3 ports. I'm not sure why this one is amber versus blue, as most of the USB 3 is. I'll have to look that up. Headphone jack for sound. I think that's either the reset button or an infrared port. Probably an infrared port, because I think I read it has one. And on the back, we've got... I gotta figure out why the screen keeps turning off. It's really fucking annoying. I guess I'm supposed to use my phone a lot for controlling this, but I like to actually look through the screen. So anyway, we got exhaust here, and this thing is supposed to stay pretty cool. And power, optical audio, Ethernet port, 2 more USB 3 ports, Thunderbolt, USB-C, and HDMI for video. I mean, it's really got everything you need. Okay, I was going to try and keep this on and do this later, but this thing's wanting to come off now. I mean, seriously, it's about to fall off. So let's have that oddly satisfying moment and just... Oh, it doesn't even peel that well. That's a shame. Okay, there you go. Now it's off. Now you can see that skull really reflects. That's pretty awesome looking. I think this comes with a second faceplate. We'll put the unit aside and we'll start looking through the box here. Okay, so we got the Intel Core i7 badge, which I actually probably will put on this thing. We have safety information, and registry information. The instruction manual. Unlike 99% of mails, I will actually read this. I'm just not going to bore you with it now. Okay, so yes, this thing does come with a second faceplate that lacks the yeah, as you can see, it lacks the skull design here on the end. Personally, I assume this is for professional environments, but I don't know about you, I'm using the one with the fucking skull on it. That's half of what attracted me to this unit to begin with. And yes, these are a little pricey, but I actually got a really good deal on it through Newegg. That it's not the perfect deal I originally had that was unfortunately on limited time, but I still got a really good deal on it that I'm very happy with. Otherwise, I probably would have done something slightly, or done a similar thing, but maybe not this particular system. But I'm really happy to be trying this out now. Okay, so looks like we got a VESA mount plate. That's kind of what's awesome about mini systems like this is I should be able to mount this probably to the bottom of the system. Yeah, and then you could mount this like on the back of your TV, and you'd never see it, but it would obviously be there. Oh, and I missed it when going through all the ports. This thing has an SD slot on the front, which would be quite handy because I may be offloading videos onto this thing as well. Okay, so wow, I'm impressed with that. So this is the power brick. It's nice and light. I mean, surprisingly light. I was expecting it to be a little heavier when I picked it up. Uses this kind of standard power connection, and then obviously your standard power cable with that particular connector. I mean, I'm gonna go on a little bit of a tangent here, and I want to compare this. The power brick from my own laptop which is a Toshiba gaming machine. Which, like I said, this thing is actually supposed to do gaming, which I'm really intrigued about. I don't expect it to be, levels of like my laptop that has a 3 gig video card in it, but I mean, check this bitch out. This is the power brick for my laptop. It is absolutely massive. It's heavy as shit. I have to carry it everywhere. Compared to the one for this unit. Not as small as it might be, but it's definitely a hell of a lot lighter. Alright, let me move this out of the way. Okay, so let's finish looking at what's in the box. So probably not much else, but it looks like we have the mounting hardware for the VESA mount, which we're not going to use, and then the other portion of the power cable. Let's see if we got anything else in here. Just lift out the inner liner here. Or maybe not. It might be glued in. Let me find out. Okay. Yeah, that bitch seems to be in there quite solidly, and since I actually really like the feel of this box, I'm not going to rip it out. But, so, that's what's in the box. So, let me read the instructions, and then I will get back with you, and we'll actually do the assembly and put the hardware in. So, stick around. Okay, I'm back. So, I gotta say, Dick's out for intel on this one. This is so well put together. So, to open this, we just unscrew these 4 screws on the bottom, and the whole bottom panel just lifts straight up. And I gotta say, I really like this. The screws are attached to the panel, meaning I cannot lose them if I tried. Not that I usually do that, but it could happen. So, yeah, bottom panel just comes right up. At least it did. This one seems to have, this corner seems to have locked itself in. Alright, there we go. So we're open. And apparently this whole thing operates upside down, which is kind of cool. So obviously processor would be under here. This is the heat sink. And just a moment. Oh, and before I get into installing the hardware here, I just want to mention an idea I had. So, as I said, this does come with a second faceplate for, which as you can see, lacks the skull design on the clear part of the panel here. If anybody's particularly good at, anybody out there is particularly good at laser etching and laser design, if somebody can figure out a way, like if we need to send this plate to you, that's totally fine. If you find a way to engrave in the same design as the skull that's on the one that's actually on the unit, a portrait of Teddy Roosevelt's face, you know, that looks like the grinning portrait that we use for him, I will gladly pay you some money for that, because I think that would just be hilarious and awesome. So, yeah, anybody out there good at laser etching, please leave a comment and let us know, because there might be some money in it for you. Okay, so let's get down to actually installing the hardware in this thing. Okay, so here's our RAM. They are 8 gig, 260 pin SODIMMs, Corsair Vengeance RAM. I thought they were going to have heat spreaders on them. They don't. They just have, you know, labels. I don't think it's going to be a big deal in this particular system, because it's supposed to be very well cooled. And if it ever does become a problem, we can always upgrade to ones that do have heat spreaders. Now, how many IT professionals does it take to open a goddamn piece of plastic? There we go. Lovely. Alright, let's install these. So let me just take a moment to refer back to our handy-dandy instructions. So it doesn't look like I have to do anything special. They will just snap in place, just like laptop RAM. So they should insert at an angle like so. Make sure that's, yeah, there we go. That's in, and boom, click into place. Second dim. Find the right angle, there we go. And, oh, that one's not in quite right. There we go. Boom. Okay, there's our RAM installed. Now, the more intriguing of the two is these ports over here. These are the the M.2 ports, which I've never used before, so this is a new one for me. But from what I can tell, it installs in a very similar manner. So give me a moment to open this package, which I have to say, this is totally, a RAM, regular RAM DIMM case. They just have a extra piece of plastic in there to hold this in place. Okay, so it looks like this just goes into primary slot, which is the lower of the two slots. I hope you can hear me alright. I do have the microphones kind of pointed away from me to give you guys a good viewing angle here. So it looks like we just take this bad boy, and I'm going to tip this up so I can see what I'm doing. Looks like he just goes in here like that, and then or maybe not. Is a screwdriver required? A screwdriver is totally required. Well, it just says there's a screw, but that looks like it requires a screwdriver to me. So, just a moment. Sure, I'm making somebody cringe out there because I'm not using a static strap, but unfortunately I don't have one at the moment. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so I did have to actually remove one screw from the unit to get this installed. I'm a little disappointed, I gotta say, Intel. I was hoping you'd have some fancy locking mechanism, but maybe that's coming in the near future. Alright, let's try this again. So, in she goes. Click into place. Push her all the way in. And I guess we just hold it down and screw it back in. This is going to be a little awkward for me. Okay, there we go. So, and as you can see, there's another slot for a second hard drive. I don't have one at the moment, but I will definitely probably be installing one later. So, got the RAM installed, got the hard drive installed, processor's already in, motherboard obviously present, so that should be it. Close this bitch back up and she's ready to go. Which honestly, that's really cool. Okay, now let's see if I can get this on the right way. Fortunately, there's a handy dandy arrow indicating where the front of the unit is. So I hope I'm not getting you guys out of frame here. So manga has a use as a nice working platform here. Alright, so, yep, base plate just drops right in. Make sure that's all the way in, yep. And then we just tighten these down. Okay, and there we have it. So that is the scientists say You know, I haven't thought of a clever name for this thing yet. I keep wanting to call it Streambox, Shinebox, something like that. People call it the Teddy Box. I don't know. But this is our new streaming box. Look at that. Lightweight. Put this little thing under the Tesla's TV. Hook in the HDMI and our capture device. We're good to go. Hook up a camera. Hook up a microphone. And we got ourselves a stream going, baby. So, yeah, hope you enjoyed this unboxing video. Another instance of decided to say, what's in the box? Forgot to drop the title earlier, so there you go now. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching that. I had fun unboxing this and putting it together. And I'm not going to bore you with the Windows setup. I'm going to do that myself here. But, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this because I had fun doing it. So, yeah, that was decided to say, what's in the box? So, until next time. You stay classy, Internet.
Weird science, elastic tubes and pots and pans, bits and pieces and magic from the hand of making weird science. Things I've never seen before.
Box cutter. Don't try this at home, kids. Sagan is not at all qualified to be using this. I don't have steady hands, and I don't like to use sharp things. I may move this off camera. And damn, this is some heavy duty. Oh shit. Yeah, I just scratched the side of the box. Lovely.